cylinder. And let's say its base is at 0, 0, 0, and its a length of, say, 2, that's fine, and its angle is 2 times pi. There we go, and we click Add. There it is. Click Q to get out of the menu. Now, save, replace it, and you can see I have my simple cylinder. Let's check the statistics. Under geometry, I have 2 points, 3 curves, 3 surfaces, and 1 volume. See how simple that was compared to the CAD import? Now, let's close that out and go into physical groups. And I would want to add. Now in a 3D simulation, I would want to add a volumetric physical group. This is where the fluid resides. Now if I have many different volumes or surfaces and things, I would want to select where the fluid groups reside in the particular volume. So let's do that now. I'll type in fluid here, and go back here and left click the volume, and I push E to execute. Now, you see nothing appeared on the screen, but what we have done is assign the fluid to this particular physical group. Now I can save that. So I've created the fluid volume, but I have not set boundary conditions. Let's just examine how we might set boundary conditions to this simple shape which I just created under Add Cylinder under Elemental Entities. I would add, say, surfaces. So the surfaces in 3D are where the boundary conditions are. So let's select surface, and I'll change it from fluid to say inlet. Now my CFD solver in the nameless file, which we'll explain more and look at in the file section, will have the keyword inlet. Any node or face, surface of an element we create with the name inlet will be examined and set as a particular boundary condition which we set in the CFD solver. So this is how we're setting boundary conditions in GMesh. So let's left click here and go in and try and select a surface. Oh, here's one particular plane. That would be one particular inlet of, say, a pipe flow. So left click and push E. Now it's selected. Don't exit. Now I might want to change it to outlet. And tab. Left click here, and I'll make the outlet here on this particular device. Zoom in, left click, E, apply. Now I've applied an inlet boundary condition and outlet. Now I might call it wall. And mind you, you can call these anything you want, but you'll have to remember what they are. I could say wall 1, wall 2, I could call it chicken or monkey, it doesn't matter. As long as I match up the nameless from the boundary condition file to the CFD solver. Now some CFD solvers are going to hard code in these nameless names from your generation tools, so you'll have to look them up in the documentation. Right now we'll just use inlet, outlet, and wall, and name them later in the configuration file of the CFD solver we're using. So I have to set one more boundary condition. So let's try and select this particular cylinder. Okay, and you see I've clicked cylinder 1, boundary curves 1, 2, 3, 4. And that represents, of course, the wall of the cylinder. I now push E, and I've set the boundary condition. I can now push Q. Whoop, I don't want to rename the wall, I just want to close the menu. And I push Q to get out of the system for setting boundary conditions. I'll save it. Done. So now what I've done is I have set 3 boundary conditions called inlet, outlet, and wall for this particular case. That's all I need to do in geometry for now. Let's now open up Mesh, and let's create a 3-dimensional mesh. I click 1D, 2D, and 3D. Now I'm not visualizing anything because I've turned my mesh visualization off, but I know it's there. I can go to Tool Statistics and click Mesh, and you can see I have all my mesh statistics right here, including times for generation. I have 282 volumetric tetrahedrals in this mesh. Let's visualize it. So I can double click and hold down my mouse button and go to Mesh Visibility and say 3D element faces or edges. Let's do edges and then faces. Here's my mesh. It's pretty coarse. Let's try and coarsen it up a little bit. Instead of hitting Refine by Splitting, I'm going to change, of course, the global mesh size factor. Let's do that and make it, say, 0.25. Okay. If I keep doing Refine by Splitting, you'll see that I am refining the original discretization. Let's try that just for fun. Do it once more. Oh, and it works pretty well. Now let's try and redo our mesh. Let's click 1D, which erases all the meshing of 2D and 3D. Now 2D, we get our 2D surface grid. And let's visualize that for fun. See, there it is. I'm visualizing the grid by double-clicking and turning it off. And if I turn off 2D, nothing there. Now click 3D once, left click, and we'll see our new mesh in 3D as we did. If you want to inspect the internal part of the mesh, once again, go to clipping, and you can click mesh, and we can move D. Let's flip it and click there and drag, and you can see there's our mesh. Let's keep the whole elements, and there we go. Now, for fun, let's export this and look at the resultant file. So I'll go ahead and save that one more time. And we're going to export our first mesh to a CFD format. We have boundary conditions, we have a grid, and we have set and looked at the 3D elements to see if we're okay for our grid. So we click File, Export. And now a new menu comes up, and we'll just call it parametric for now. And we can say, type an extension, it'll guess our CFD solver. If we click this box, oh my God, there's so many options, and unfortunately they come off our screen. But there's many different types of meshes. There's GMSH format, there's open cascade and steps. You can go back to other solvers. And if we scroll down, there's images and movies, so you can take screenshots for your reports. And so that's wonderful. There's all kinds of post-processing and meshes and everything. Now, in some of these meshes, you'll see particular solvers. For example, Gambit is a mesh file for the Fluent solver. We're try SU2 because it's an open source CFD code, and we can look at the mesh file easily. So let's just click mesh SU2, and we'll type it in on parametric 2 right there, and we click save. And we'll just leave save all elements off, because we chose a fluid domain. If we didn't choose a fluid domain, then we would click it on. So let's click OK. Now let's go and look at our generated mesh files from GMSH and for the SU2 code. So I've opened up and went to the directory where I have saved these files in my Mac OS X. You can do this with simple File Explorer on Windows or Finder on Mac, or your own GUI on Linux. I just like to use the command line because, of course, I have the most control. So I'll type in ls to list files in human readable format, and you'll see I have 3 files. This is the original GMSH file, the geometry. This is the mesh file of the generated mesh, and I have an SU2 input file. So this is the file that goes into the CFD solver. This is the end of the pre-processing phase. So let's just use an editor, and I like to use VI. So I type VI, which is an editor, and you can read about VI and VIM online, or you can use a simple text editor. Do not use Word or Microsoft. Use a simple text editor. Let's do VI and type in the file and enter. And you'll see the whole mesh is shown here. What we did is we opened, this is basically a script file for GMSH. It has setting the CAD engine, and then it creates a single cylinder. And then you see the operations we did in the GUI. We created a fluid volume, and we called it fluid. We could change this now with the text editor and save it to something else. And we have inlet, outlet, and wall. And you can see that these 2, 1, and 3 correspond to the 3 surfaces of the cylinder. The 1 says the first volume is the cylinder. So this is the complete script file of GMSH. You can imagine that you can completely script GMSH and run it from the command line. Now I'm going to exit VI by typing :Q! You can see that in the lower left-hand corner and hitting enter. Let's look at the mesh file next. I'll say VI, which is my text file, my text editor, and I'll select and paste and edit VI, the .mesh file. I push enter. Now I can use my arrow keys to scroll around, and now we're seeing the actual mesh generated by GMSH in its native format. You'll see there's some version numbers and stuff up here. You can ignore that for now, and we'll go to physical names. It'll say there's 4, because we set 4 particular names. There are some surfaces we called inlet, outlet, and wall, and they're type 2 because they're in 2 dimensions, and these are, of course, the numbers. And then number 1 in 3 dimensions would be a fluid. So we could still go in here and edit these to be whatever we want. There's then a nodal list. So see, we have a particular number of nodes. We can scroll down. I'm hitting Control D on my keyboard to go down by page. And you see it says in elements. So here's the actual connectivity of GMesh. Neat. So there's a nodal number and then the connectivity. That's all there is to that, so let's quit out of that. In this lesson, we've created a simple cylinder, looked at parametric modeling and geometry, and then we created a 3D simple grid and showed you how to export it with simple boundary conditions with a fluid domain for a particular CFD solver. And then we looked at the simple formats of .geo and .mesh files, which are simple text files, which you can open with your own editor. Try it out for yourself.